completely honest, I was super nervous at the thought of coming up here today and speaking publicly, but I keep reminding myself why I am doing this and why we are all here today. Because we care about animals, their rights, and their freedom. I'm not famous or any type of online influencer or anything like that. I'm just someone who has always cared about animals, and I thought I would share a little bit about my journey so far in hopes to inspire others to make the connection. I grew up in a meat-eating family. I was raised to believe that a glass of milk at every meal was healthy and would make my bones strong. I grew up believing that not having meat at every meal was super unhealthy. A special treat in my family was when my dad would take us to the local deli and buy all of us a thick slice of head cheese. If you don't know what this is, just Google it. This is how my grandparents were raised, this is how my parents were raised, and this is how I was raised. I will admit, back then it was probably a lot more difficult to make the transition to a plant-based or vegan diet. There were never any options and very little education on veganism. Nowadays, I could literally go to A&W and eat a vegan burger. I can veganize any recipe and get the same, if not more nutrients and protein than a regular meat dish. We can learn from the past and use it to help us create a healthier and more compassionate future. When I was around 12-ish years old, I started to wonder and question certain things. I would ask my dad things like, I know we're eating pork chops, and I know that pork is pig, so how do they kill the pigs? And my dad, love him dearly, would respond with, well, they just kill the pigs the way we would kill or, put down our beloved pets when their time is up. Hearing that made me super relieved. I thought, well, that's good. They're living a peaceful life, long life, with humans that love and care for them before they're killed. So blindly, I went on believing that for about another 2 years. Also, I will mention that both of my parents are here today. They have made the connection and they have been very supportive and open this whole journey. So thank you, Mom and Dad. One night when I was scrolling through Facebook, I came across a PETA documentary, a video, starring Paul McCartney. For those of you who don't know or haven't seen it yet, it was basically real, raw footage of animals inside slaughterhouses and showed what happens to them. I clicked on it and got maybe 30 seconds in before I had to stop and cry. But again, remembering what my dad always told me about how they're killed, I thought, well, maybe this doesn't happen in Canada. We must have better laws and regulations on how animals are treated. So I decided to do my own research. And all I will say is, Dad, you were so wrong. As Paul McCartney famously quoted, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be a vegetarian. I woke up the next morning and I told my family that I was done with meat. I started off by cutting out red meat only, but again, after doing more research and realizing that chickens are actually one of the most abused animals on the planet, I cut all meat out. I was vegetarian for about 8 years. Just over a year ago, I decided that I wanted to do more for the animals. I decided that being a vegetarian wasn't enough for me. Through my research in social media, I have heard and learned about places like LA Animal Save Movement, Toronto Pig Movement, Toronto Cow Save, and others kind of in the States, but I had no clue that there were actually animal save movements in my own province. My mom actually works with a member of Regina Pig Save. She would tell me stories about this member and how active she was and still is for the animals. Her name is Lori. Lori speaks up and uses her knowledge and voice for the animals every chance she gets. I remember thinking that is exactly what I was meant to do. So I decided to hop out of my comfort zone and reach out to Lori and attend my first pig vigil with Regina Pig Save. My best friend Madison, who is also here today, came along to support me. Madison was still a meat eater back then, but always loved animals and was willing to learn. All it took was that first vigil. I remember looking into their beautiful eyes and thinking, oh my gosh, they look just like dogs. They were terrified, they were confused, and they were sad. They had cuts and bruises all over their bodies. After that first vigil at Thunder Creek Slaughterhouse in Moose Jaw, Madison and I both made the transition to veganism. We both learned so much through the activists there, and after researching the horrors of the egg and dairy industries, we didn't want to contribute to that anymore. I still, of course, make mistakes along the way, but surrounding myself with people who are open and encouraging, like Madison, Lori, my parents, and other activists I have met along the way has been extremely helpful. Over the past year, I've been active for the animals, I found my purpose and passion. As Shauna said, I am a primary school teacher in Regina, and I teach kindness and compassion towards animals every chance I get. I connect kindness to the curriculum, and we do things like blanket drives and bake sales to raise money for animal sanctuaries and shelters. I rescued a steer named Beaker, who is currently living out his best life at a sanctuary in Alberta. I rescued 2 big pigs, Babe and Ruth. They are currently living in a temporary safe home near Humboldt. I'm taking a chicken to its forever home tomorrow at a sanctuary close to my home. All of these sweet babies were worth every penny. They are more than just a burger, bacon, and a nugget to me. They all have their own unique personalities and know how to love, and they deserve it back. All animals feel pain. All animals fight for their lives. They endure unimaginable suffering in modern factory farms. I'm extremely relieved that the 4 sweet souls will not be put through the same fate that the majority of livestock are put through. I'm continuing to learn and grow in this journey, and I will never stop being active for the animals. If you or anyone you know are interested in getting active, becoming vegetarian, vegan, or just looking for more information or advice, feel free to reach out to me or any member of Saskatoon or Regina Animal Save. I could not have rescued the animals I have without the support or help of my fiance, family, and friends. I wouldn't be the person I am today without them. Surround yourself with open and encouraging people. Do what you know is right, and always use your voice to speak out for the voiceless. I would like to end off with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. Never, never be afraid to do what's right, especially if the well-being of a person or animal is at stake. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erin. That was really powerful.